Thank you Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little bit different. I've actually been extremely busy lately because university is just taking up all of my time and I have like no free time anymore. But I was kind of like sorting through old footage and I actually found an old Speedpaint of when I was working on an assignment from last year. So the drawings in this video were actually made a year ago, but I really wanted to share this because it was a super cool and fun assignment to work on. And usually the way it is with my course is we get loads of different assignments all the time, and sometimes you just have those assignments where you look at them and you read the brief for it and you're just thinking, oh my god, I am absolutely dreading this. Like, this sounds like a lot of work and it sounds very hard and I'm not looking forward to it. But sometimes there is that rare moment where you read for an assignment and it just is like such a good assignment and looks like it's going to be so fun, and this was one of those times, and I had such a blast working on this one because this one was all fully concept art based, and I'll get more into what it sort of involved in a minute. But yeah, basically what you're seeing is a speed paint of some of the work I did for this assignment. I really wish I had filmed the entire process of creating all of the drawings for the portfolio that we had to hand in for this assignment. Unfortunately, I only have a speed paint of one of the characters, but throughout the video I will show you sort of like pictures of the final drawings I did for the other parts. It would have been great if I had the footage for those parts, but I actually never intended to make this into a video, but it was literally when I was looking through my old stuff again, I was like, actually, you know what, I really want to show you guys this, and I have quite a few things that I want to say in terms of character design and also redesigning characters. So like I said, it was a second year assignment, but I thought it would be interesting to share the drawings and the process anyway, especially for those of you who want to get into character design, or if you're just in general curious about like my process behind it. Anyway, I'm going to get a little bit more into the brief of this assignment. So every assignment comes with a brief, which is basically a document that breaks down all the different things we need to do and we need to hand in. So for this brief, this was actually an advanced 3D specialism. So last year in second year of university, we had to choose like a specific module that we wanted to focus on. So I think we had to choose like 4 each, and there were lots of different things to choose from. We could choose between modelling, and that means 3D modelling, which is like sculpting things in 3D and making 3D objects. There was rigging, which is when you basically have a 3D like object, like it could be a person, and you kind of make the skeleton inside it that makes it move. There was also the option to do coding, and matte painting and lots of random other things like that. And then finally there was this module, which was the character and concept art module. I've never seen anything that was more my cup of tea than a character and concept art brief. So when I saw this one, I knew I had to pick it as one of my specialisms. So there were lots of different aspects to this brief. However, the overarching theme of this module was to redesign aspects from the 1927 film Metropolis. I don't know if you would have heard about it before. It is quite a famous film. I know I've definitely seen the poster before I even knew about it, but it is a really cool film and there were some quite cool character designs in it. And the whole focus of this brief was to essentially completely reimagine parts of it. So I'll basically explain more about that. So part 1 of this brief was to redesign a character from the film in any style or setting of your choosing. So the amount of freedom we had with that was great. I mean, I love briefs where we're basically given free rein to do whatever we want. So for the character that I chose to redesign, you could choose like from loads of different characters in the film, but I chose the scientist called Rotwang. And his original design is quite like dark and sinister looking, so I completely reimagined him as sort of like a kids show scientist. So I'll put some images on the screen now and just show you like the pages of my portfolio where I redesigned this character. This is one of the ones where I wish I had filmed myself drawing it, because I had so much fun doing it and I'm really happy with how it came out. So just to explain a little bit more about the redesign in any style and setting, by that my lecturer literally meant you could redesign him to be anything. So I could have redesigned Rotwang the scientist to not even be a scientist. He could have been a pirate or a dog or anything. That was the fun part about it, was you could literally redesign him to fit any kind of theme. It could be a completely different story, but I think we did have to keep some basic elements the same. But anyway, I thought it would be easy to keep him as a scientist, but instead of having this very dark and sinister design like his original design had, I chose something that was quite bright, quite pastel-y, and more aimed at kids and very fun looking. I actually looked at a few sort of references of Bill Nye as a inspiration for this, and then my second page of drawings of him wasn't quite as good because these are a bit more rushed, but it sort of gives you the general kind of idea of how I redesigned him. Then part 2, which is actually what you see me doing in this video, was to reinvent the Maschinimensch, I hope I'm saying that right, which is the robot in the movie, and you see me drawing her in this video. And basically, instead of having her as a full-on robot, I sort of reimagined her as a cyborg. So I wanted to maintain those robotic elements, so I sort of experimented with like cybergenetic enhancements mixed with steampunk. So there are some versions of her that I drew on this page where she has like cogs inside of her, and then there's other versions where I had like a sort of like circuit board under her face. And in the end of all the concepts, I really liked the idea of the circuit board face kind of thing the most. I thought that looked the coolest. So on the very far right, that was sort of like my final design for her, because that is in full color and that is the one I did like to the most like completion, and I was really happy with that. And then on the next page, I actually went on to develop sort of a silhouette for her. So that is actually a really important tip I have. If you're doing a character design, you should always be thinking about what their silhouette looks like. And I knew for this character especially, I wanted to have a really strong silhouette. And that is why I added this kind of, well, first thing I did was I literally drew her silhouette and I made sure it looked interesting and had interesting shapes. She's got this really heavy looking, bulky, sort of like cyborg arm, and then she had her skirt hanging on the same side as that. And one tip I have is, if you have an asymmetrical design where you have something really bulky and heavy, having the skirt on the same side as that kind of made it look too weighted to one side, like there was just too much going on one half of her. So that is why I made the skirt in the end flow to the other side of her, so it's sort of blowing in the wind to the other side. And yeah, I had so much fun doing this drawing. I'm actually really happy with how this finished pose came out. I think it looks really, like, it doesn't look too stiff at all despite her standing still. I think this is an example of stuff I should be doing more of in a way, because yeah, I was so proud of the redesign I did for her, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. However, because these were all drawn a year ago and I feel like I have improved quite a lot in a year, I do look at the drawings in that you are seeing in this video and think, oh my god, there's so many things I would change about it now and do differently, and I know I could draw them a lot better. But yeah, excuse the change of quality in this video, is just literally because this is old footage, but I just thought it was interesting to share anyway. Anyway, part 3 of our brief was actually to redesign one of the environments from the movie with a style and period influence of your choice. So I redesigned the Tower of Babel, which is a tower in the film, and I wanted to give it that kind of steampunk-esque aesthetic again. So first thing I did was I drew up some thumbnail sketches of like different perspectives I could use and different kind of shapes I could use for this concept, and then I chose one. Now, fun fact, and something that I really do not recommend, is because I was dreading the environment part of this brief so much, I actually left this until the very last minute, and I ended up pulling an all-nighter before the day of the deadline for this project because I hate doing environments. You can probably tell that from my channel, but I especially did a year ago, and I was putting it off for so long because I really didn't want to do it, and then I ended up doing it the night before. I really don't recommend that, and that's why these are super rushed. And then the final piece I did with colour, I was kind of happy with it, but it's not very detailed at all. So yeah, that was probably, out of my portfolio, this was the weakest point. However, I wanted to finish this off by saying I did have so much fun on this brief. It was really cool to reimagine characters, especially from a film, like a really old film, and it got me thinking like this would be a really cool idea for future videos. So if you wanted to see more future videos where you suggest a film to me and I redesign characters from that film, I would love to do that, and I can already think of like some ideas of films already. So yeah, if that's something you would like to see, let me know. And if you want to see more university work, let me know, because I'm always happy to share that with you guys. And sorry if this was a bit of a weird video. I just kind of wanted to talk about character design and give you a bit of an insight into a university brief that pertains to concept art and characters. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you thought of it, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye guys! Thank you again to Squarespace for supporting my channel. I built my website with them and found it incredibly simple and easy to use, especially as someone with no background in web design. I really recommend using them if you're an artist, because you can use their galleries feature to display all of your work, and their image blocks will always make sure that your work looks good no matter where you end up placing it. And they also have a commerce feature which allows you to sell your work directly through your website. For a free trial and 10% off of your first purchase, go to squarespace.com/JennaDrawing.